Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the inaugural episode of Superintendents Unplugged, In Depth with Davis, the podcast where we'll dive deep into the world of educational leadership. I'm your host, Addison Davis, and I'm thrilled to have you join me as we embark on the inspiring journey together. As a superintendent once myself, I understand the challenges and complexities that come with leading a school district. But what I've come to realize is that there's abundance of amazing work being done by superintendents all across our country. This podcast is a platform to shine a spotlight on their incredible accomplishments and innovative approaches. Each episode will bring you exclusive interviews and superintendents from various districts across our country, both big and small, urban and rural, as they share their personal stories, triumphs, and even their moments of vulnerability. We will explore the strategies they employ to tackle the ever-evolving landscape of education, from fostering equity and inclusivity to embracing technology and preparing students for their future. But this podcast isn't just about showcasing success. It's about fostering a community of educational leaders who can learn from one another, share their experiences, and collectively navigate the complexities of our role. We'll discuss the tough topics as well, the difficult decisions, and the innovative solutions that are transforming education for the better. So while you're an educator, a parent, a student, or simply someone who's passionate about education, this podcast is for you. Superintendents Unplugged is your behind-the-scenes pass to the world of educational leadership, where we uncover the stories that inspire, motivate, and empower every one of us. Get ready to be inspired, challenged, and entertained as we embark on this incredible journey together. I can't wait to introduce you to the remarkable superintendent who are changing the educational landscape one district at a time. Welcome to another episode of Superintendents Unplugged. I'm your host, Addison Davis, coming live from San Diego at the Council of Great City Schools. I'm here with one of Florida's best leaders, new leaders, Broward County Superintendent Pete Licata. Pete, thank you for being here today.
Thank you, man.
We appreciate it. We had to meet this way all the way coming to, the West Coast, but listen, I have watched your work for many, many years and seen you do some really cool things, great things in, Palm Beach. Now you get a chance to take on a new journey, a school district that really needs your leadership, needs a strong, articulate leader that can drive the work, understands the work. How's that going in Broward?
It's going great. There's a lot of great things going in Broward. It's just a few things, the headlines, the newspapers want to make it more about a few bad things rather than all the amazing things. And as well as a superintendent, you got to always coach up the good stuff because there's a lot more good stuff than bad stuff.
Absolutely.
One of the things I had to really start and think about when I got there is I got to build trust. We got to be out front. We got to tell the truth. Truth is easy to say. It's easy to remember. And that's where we're going to stay with it. And the community likes that. We can say when we're wrong.
Absolutely.
We can say when we're wrong, but we're also going to say when we're right.
I think that's perfect. One thing that, when I went into Hillsborough, now retired. I went
Too young to retire, by the way.
I know, sir. I went into Hillsborough. One thing I did is I ran stuff and it wasn't the right way. And I learned that in a very, quick 5 months and had to make my adjustment. You just talked about, you only can move at the speed of trust and you building relationships. I think that is the greatest, indicator of being able to move a school district and really just great leadership. How's that happening? What are you doing to create that space? Because you're only as good as what your people understand and how they feel valued in this process.
So you don't have to listen to all the noise, but you have to hear it. And some of it is that, we spend money way too easy. And I did that immediately. We're down $30-40 million immediately, and we didn't touch the classroom.
Wow. Congrats to you.
And we're still doing what we're doing. We're getting smaller. The older couples are moving in. The families are moving up North Florida. It's getting expensive in South Florida. But it's immediately the public and the taxpayer and these referendums that they're investing in and say, wait a second, they're starting to look at really closely what they're spending money on and trying to save it while still doing well.
Sure.
And so, you can't listen to every word of the noise, but you still got to hear it.
Absolutely. And you know what? It's so important. And in this process, as you're starting to kind of build and these relationships, carving out time with teachers, carving out time with your cabinet and your school board members is so important for you to do it. And I hear all the time, Licata's in the classrooms. And, I think that just shows the power of your willingness to be able to identify what's working, what's not, and what we can do differently.
Well, you were a coach for years, and I think you may still coach.
Yes.
And we don't get to pick our players, and we get our players, and we build our team, and we build our plan around that team.
Yes,
and
sir.
we don't install an offense that we can't run.
Absolutely.
We install an offense that they can run and be successful at. And that's why I've stepped back and watched what goes on. And I know I have a great team, but I want to make sure that I'm not forcing things in. The scores were great last year, through some tough times,
Yes,
through
sir.
replacing. Why change things? Just support them more. That's why I came out with that statement, student-centered, teacher-supported, and principal-led. We get that. That's what they've been doing and supported a little bit more. I think we're going to, they raise the rates a little bit here in the state. They raise the rates in Florida 2-3, and that's okay. That's what a governor does. But we're still going to attack it. We were so close to an A last year, and then the halftime scores is what I call them, coming out next week. We're still going to fight. I think we can get there. I think we can get to the A.
Well, you know what? You've shown that you're focused, you're surgical about moving the needle educationally in Palm Beach. You know what? So going into Broward, that same game plan with a little bit of adjustments, I think that's going to be able to allow you to get to that systemic A that you aspire to do it. What are some areas of focus educationally as you go in there, other than continue to set the foundations of relationships?
So the first thing we got to look at is stop focusing on adult problems.
Thank you. Say it again.
We're not
watching.
We're not focusing on adult problems. They exist. When you have 34,000 employees, it exists in a big community. But we got to get better at adulting. And then the second thing we need to do is talk about pressing 3- and 4-year-olds on learning to read. That was one of the untouchables. We don't want to stress them out when they're too young. I get it. But we can just start with some phonemic awareness early. By 3rd grade, if they're not reading, the battle. Yeah. You're never going to catch it. You're never going to get there. Let's get them reading before they get to school. Just familiarity with letters and words and sentence structure, even some, just phonemic awareness.
Sure.
We get those kids reading before they get to 3rd grade.
Absolutely.
Our work is done. And if what is it? If you teach a child to read, they have a lifetime of learning. So let's do it early.
Perfect. I mean, thank you for making the importance of focusing on early literacy. It's the foundation of all of us. And if those of you notice, he didn't talk about kindergarten. He talked about 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds being able to activate early learning as soon as he can, to be able to get them in a space where they understand how to look at letter sight words, segmentation, look at that automaticity related to literacy. It's perfect. So anything else related to areas of focus of early education? How about transition to the post-secondary world?
So there's 2 other pieces I want to jump on.
Yeah.
One of the things that hung around my neck was, my award was middle school and high school acceleration.
Yeah.
We are going to go through every single schedule like we did in Palm Beach County and look at every child and say, you deserve to have an advanced coursework. And if it's not working for them, we can pull back. But think of you see this, a child that's been on that road of remediation jail, and you give them a chance to do something well and they do it, their world lightens up.
Light bulb comes on.
So let's not give them, where they have to make a choice because they don't have anything. Let's give them the opportunity to make a choice because they can go to college or go to work. Let's focus on that. The other thing we're going to focus on, we just did it this week, is we opened up an international welcoming center. We're going to open up some more for some of our schools. We know our families are so important, but they're coming here from another country. They don't speak the language. They're trying to figure out transportation. They're trying to get a job. They don't speak the language. Let's help them too.
Sure.
Because when a child goes home to a family that knows what they're doing educationally, the most involved parents, they sometimes they're a little more often in your office.
That's right.
But their kids are usually some of the best kids in school. And
Absolutely.
That's what when parents are involved, they're the original teachers of these kids. And we'll do everything we can, but when we have the families involved, it's even better. So we're going to try and help support the family. I know that's not what we went to school for.
Yeah.
But you know what? We're the epicenter, and we handle this, we shoulder this, and we've accepted this. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to be that epicenter of the community.
It's so smart. It's we grew up focusing on the whole child. Now it's time to focus on the entire family in the community. For you to be able to have satellite geographical locations, to be able to educate parents, allow them to be the greatest advocates for children, allow them to help you be that first educator you just spoke about and do some cool things for kids. I think that's perfect.
Yeah, I'd rather us do it than somebody else.
That's right.
And it's a responsibility. I did my town halls like you did when you first became superintendent. And one of the first things I heard that people were really happy about is free food.
Yeah.
Free lunch and breakfast without having to go through processes. And then you think about
all the paperwork's out.
It takes 5 people before those kids get into a classroom. The bus driver, if they don't pick the kid up, the kid's not going to school. If they don't get to eat, they're hungry. They're not learning. If they're not feeling healthy or mentally healthy, they get to see somebody right there. If they don't feel safe, they're not learning. We know that. And most importantly, if they're not sitting in a clean desk, custodian. So it's more than just
little things matter.
It's so many people that get before you get to the teacher. So let's try and help that whole system work and get that rolling.
You know what? Focused on the little things matter. The essentials that students need, prior the days of us looking at students and trying to help them there while they're on campus in isolation is over. Right. It's what's happening before school and what's happening after school, and what can we do to be able to give them a sense of hope every single day. So proud of your work, what you're doing, man. Thank you for being with us today with a short time. I know that you got to go to see your kids.
I get to see kids perform downstairs, which is great.
We're in San Diego. We get a chance to see his kids come and connect with us from across the coast. But understand this: Broward County is doing some really good work. They got a great leader who's ready to go. Thank you, Doc, for being here. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you. And one of the best things is, and I've done it already a few times, I pick up the phone and call you.
Yes, sir.
Bad decisions are made in isolation.
Yes,
so
sir.
I'm going to make sure I talk to everybody who's been in my seat and understand it. So thank you for answering the phone.
I appreciate that, and I love the work, and I love watching you doing it. So that your community knows you care. We know you care. West Coast, everyone knows you care. Keep doing some cool things.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Sir. Until next time, we'll see you next time with Superintendents Unplugged with Dr. Pete Licata from Broward County. Look forward to seeing you in the classrooms.